So this is point slope form. This is the second linear equation that we have to learn. The first one was y equals mx plus b, which was slope intercept form. And the reason it was slope intercept form is because you were given the slope and you're given the y intercept, and you can figure out what the line is. Well, in this case, it's kind of very similar. This is called point slope form. So in point slope form, you can use this in any linear equation, but our little trick is if we know a point and we know the slope, then we can put it into point slope form. So point slope form as a formula, guys, is this. It's y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. Okay, this actually is a derivative from the slope formula, from the actual slope formula. So I'm going to show you where this comes from, just so you understand where it comes from, because we're trying to build you a nice foundation in algebra and math. So when you go to the high school or beyond, you'll know some of this crazy stuff. Our slope formula, remember, is y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And you'll remember when we did some literal equations back in the last topic, in topic 1, and we can move this stuff around. Well, if I want to move these things around here a little bit, what I can do is I can divide both sides, or this is getting divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So if I multiply both sides by that, I'm going to end up with m times x sub 2 minus x sub 1 is equal to just y sub 2 minus y sub 1, because if we multiply this side by that, it will just eliminate it. That's what we learned. So in essence, what you actually have, guys, this is actually this up here. It's the same thing. You can see the m over here, but we know 2 points here. Here we only know 1. It's the same thing, though. And then y sub 2 minus y sub 1 is the same thing over here, except, again, we only know 1 point. So that's where this all derives from. This is where it comes from. And you can do it by doing the literal equations. But you don't have to actually memorize all that. You just have to know that this comes from the slope formula. So I'm going to get rid of this. And here is what our formula is. And here's the tricky parts of the formula. The formula is developed using subtraction. So this is subtracting this one, subtracting this one. It's important to know that because it has something to do with the signs. It's going to change your signs as you move along through here. Now, here's what we mean by that. So here we have x sub 1 and y sub 1. X sub 1 and y sub 1 are coming from our point. This is x sub 1 and this is y sub 1. That's the point we're using. So if I take my x sub 1, which is 3, and I replace it over here, I'm going to replace this with x minus positive 3. But notice that the minus sign is still there. So this actually appears to be a negative 3. Well, the minus sign is part of the formula. If you subtract positive 3, that's just minus 3, positive 3. So that's what it's going to look like. The y sub 1 is a 4. Again, it's positive 4, but this says y minus that. So this is going to be y minus the positive 4, so it's also going to look like that. And m in this case is your slope, and they're telling us our slope, so they're giving it to us, and we know our slope is 2. Okay, so this is point slope form, guys. So if we were to put this onto a graph, we could actually graph this. I'm going to show you how to do that in class. But here's all you need to know. One of my points that's going to be on the line, that is going to be on the graph, is 3, 4. So you put a dot at the point 3, 4. And then my slope is just telling me that from that point, from that one point, not the y-intercept anymore, because we don't know what the y-intercept is. This isn't slope-intercept form. From that one point, with my slope being 2, remember, 2 can be turned into a fraction as 2 over 1. So I would rise 2 and run 1, rise 2, run 1. And it would be positive direction. So it would be going up from left to right in a positive direction. So that is what point slope form is. If you know a point and you know the slope, you can put the point actually on a graph, and you can use your slope from that one point, rise 2, run 1, and you can create the graph from that. Now, if you use your Desmos graphing calculator, you can find that on the website on Savvas Realize. And if you use the Desmos graphing calculator, you can actually type in this right here, and it will draw the line for you. And what you will notice about that line is that it runs through the point 3, 4, and it has a slope of 2. So from that point, it'll rise 2, run 1, and be back on the line again every single time. Now, in order to get this on the Desmos calculator, when the calculator first appears on there, on the upper left-hand side, you will see like a couple of menu bars. If you click on that menu bar, and then you can type in any equation you want, and it'll graph that equation for you, as long as that equation is in the form of a linear equation so far. We can do nonlinear equations, but we just haven't gotten there yet. So this is another form of a linear equation. It's called the point-slope form. The point-slope form tells you that it has a point. In this case, if you know your formula, the point is 3, 4. And be careful with this. It's not -3, -4, because the negative is part of the formula. And we know that our slope is 2. So you can grab that right from the formula. That is point-slope form. We learned the slope-intercept form as well. Both of them are linear equations. We're going to learn one more way to draw a linear equation. I'll help you out in class with all this stuff, and I'll show you the things that you need to know. But use your Desmos graphing calculator as well. It will give you a hand. And if you have any trouble or you're just not sure about something, please email me, and I'll take care of it for you.